everyone, Amanda here from Seven Feathers with a short video related to the Wise Woman course and the Oracle card or divination part of the course. So some of you may not have much experience or any experience at all working with Oracle cards or tarot cards or divination practice. And so I wanted to be able to share a little bit and hopes to answer any questions or any hesitancy about perhaps joining the course based on that. So let's go straight into what divination is. So divination practices have been around as long as humans. As long as human consciousness has had this awareness of that there's more to than what we can see. There is energy, there are higher consciousness states, there's the unseen world, there's a spirit world. If these align with your beliefs, then carry on listening. If they don't, then this may or may not be for you, which is fine. So, divination is a practice of seeking knowledge or information, perhaps about the future, or just from about the unknown, right? So about the unknown through using tools that connect you to energy or awareness or consciousness you can't actually see. So this could be your higher self or sense of connection to spirit, your spirit guides, to the universe, to the goddess. So divination's been around for a long time, divination practices. So tossing runes or Om sticks or the I Ching, using oracle cards and tarot cards. These are all divination tools. So the difference between an oracle cards and tarot decks, let's just talk about that very briefly. And I am not a tarot reader. I am not a card reader per se, but I do use it as a tool in my individual sessions, and I use it as a personal tool to fine-tune my intuition, to have a medium through which to receive information. It's fun, and you get better at it as you practice it. You become more trusting, you develop your intuitive abilities related to what you actually see, and it's a very personalized and individualized thing. Now, oracles, and you can think about even the term oracle, this would have been referred to at one time a person or people who were the wise man or wise woman of a village or a town or a community. They were the oracle through which people went to seek, again, information about the unknown. So oracle cards are typically a set of cards of any particular number. There's no set number of cards. You could have a deck that's 12 cards. You could have a deck that's 44 cards. You could have a deck that's 112 cards. And they're more free and they're more fluid. The people who create them can create them with a theme. So for example, this particular deck is all connected to sacred geometry. It's backwards for you. But these cards have sacred geometric patterns. Oh, I'm sorry, that one's upside down. Sacred geometric patterns, and they would also have a theme. So this one says change. This one says root chakra. This one says heart chakra. This one says Gaia, which is another name for the earth. It's a Greek name. Magic. Miracle. So this one's tantric journey. So these ones will have their own meaning and message, and oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes oracle cards have a more global message or meaning to them. Here is another one. This one is a divine feminine deck, and these have various goddesses: Lala, Kajia, Freya. See if I can get the lighting right for you to see. Freya. And so again, these are more archetypal messages related to these various goddesses, and each book that comes with the deck will have meanings related to each and every card. And again, the creators of these decks will put meaning into the various things that you see. Perhaps the numbers of the cards will have significance, or the colors in the cards will have significance. If it's an animal deck, like this one, you'll be tuning into the archetypal energies of these animals, and they will have the message. And then you will also use your intuition and your body sensing and knowing when you get the card you get to see if it feels right or what part of it speaks to you and resonates with you the most. Tarot cards are an older system, and they are more of a fixed traditional structure. So there's a set number typically in the deck, usually 78, although there are variations of it now, but the traditional Rider-Waite tarot decks were 78 cards. And they are set up in a system. So there are different houses. So there's cups and wands. There's the within the deck there are different houses. So there's the house of wands, swords, cups. And so each of these will represent something. So for instance, cups typically is connected to the emotional body. And I believe wands is connected to the mental body. But there are common meanings throughout, even if you have a variety of themes in tarot decks. Like I have a deck here that is more of a druid plant tarot deck. And that, although that has different plants and things as the imagery and the meanings of those, it still follows these houses or suits, right? The suit of cups, suit of wands, the suit of swords, and then there's the major arcana and the minor arcana. So the major cards typically tend to apply to like your more soul and global experience, whereas the suits or the houses will have a series of cards within them, and they're more specific, detailed information about what's maybe happening on the practical level at the moment. So think of oracle cards as maybe a little broader, like the chapter of a book, and the tarot deck having more specific structure and more details like the pages in the chapter. So you could get more specific information there. So you don't have to stress at all about picking an oracle deck or a tarot deck if you're new to this, to buy one or to borrow one from someone. If you do borrow it, in the course it shares how to energetically clear it. You want to clear it of the person's energy who's previously been using it. If it's a brand new deck, you want to do that too. But the oracle deck really can have a variety of meanings, and in terms of how you choose it, you want to choose intuitively one that's pleasant and pleasing to you for the images. So if you really love animals, an animal deck might be your way to go. If you're very connected to the angelic sort of realm of things and the softness that comes with that, then maybe you want an angel deck. Maybe you're really fascinated by the sacred geometry, and you can use the cards as a form of meditation. You can sit in front of you and connect with the images, focusing on that. That can be a part of your practice that you develop as part of the Wise Woman course as well. So it also, the type of questions that you want to ask will also sort of influence your choice of a deck. So if you like that sort of more global, like you want to ask a question like, okay, what will best help me relax and serve my sense of inner peace this week or this month? Then you might choose from an oracle deck. You then, if you had something more specific, like you're actually, say you're planning on having a conversation with someone and sharing your truth, well then you might ask something like, what will help me follow through and keep my courage this week with this conversation? Then maybe you're going to pick something from more of a tarot deck. It'll be more specific information. However, you can easily choose from an oracle deck and get equally helpful information, because part of it is you that's gleaning, your higher self that's gleaning from this. And then it's what card actually comes out. So I use oracle decks and tarot decks interchangeably. And what you're invited to do is just a basic practice in the Wise Woman course by shuffling, and if a card pops out, that's called a jumping card, and that's your card. If a whole cluster falls on the floor, you want to pick those up and start shuffling again. But if one pops out, you want to look at that and notice whether it's facing upright or reversed. Sometimes that can have significance, sometimes it doesn't, and this is part of what I want you to start trusting is your own intuition. And even if it comes upright, the reverse meaning in the deck might actually speak to you more than the upright meaning in the book that comes along with the deck. So this is a way of, I call it oracle play, because I want you to explore it from a place of both respect, of course, because we're dealing with our own higher self and energies and spirit energy, and perhaps you're inviting in a specific goddess energy to work with, as part of the course invites you to. But you also want to have fun with it. If you're too serious about it, it creates stress and it takes you out of alignment, takes you into fear and doubt and worry, and that's not going to serve you in the long run, or even in that moment from that perspective. So the basic invitation in the course is to shuffle, and if one card comes out, there's your card. Otherwise, you shuffle and then you spread them out and you pick one, or you cut the deck and you pick one. You have framed your question first, and then you do the oracle or tarot card work. So I'm just thinking that what I will see if this, okay, so this deck, just to show you quickly, this is a tarot deck. So it is much more thick, and so there's the Knight of Cups, there's the Ace of Cups. So the difference between this would be a minor arcana. This is a major card, the Wheel of Life. So this is a much, has a grander meaning with it than perhaps the Knight of Cups would have a more specific message for you regarding your question. So I hope that is helpful for you. And if you have any more specific questions, let me know. I would be happy to answer them, and I hope you take the leap and join the Wise Woman course and start exploring your own healing and personal growth. Thank you.